Okay, we're going to talk about finding area of the shapes and like composite shapes, meaning shapes that are, it's put together by other shapes. And let's just review our formulas for area. Area of a rectangle is area equals base times height, which is the same as length times width, and squares would work too. And then area for a parallelogram is base times height, and that's the height like kind of like this, if you can see, like where it's going to make a 90-degree angle. Okay, you want height there. Triangle is base times height divided by 2, and again, the height, you can either look at it like how long it is there, or you can kind of look at it as like right here. That's your height. Again, it's got to form a 90-degree angle. And then your trapezoid, base 1 plus base 2 times your height divided by 2. Your bases are the ones that are parallel. So that's a base and that's a base. If I had it drawn like this, the ones that are parallel is right here and right here. So those are your bases, and your height would be going like this. Again, it's got to make a right angle. And then circles, we've been talking about circumference and area. Circumference is like your perimeter, that's pi times your diameter, or you could say 2 pi r, which just means you're going to multiply the radius times 2 because that would make the diameter times pi. And area is pi r squared. So now let's practice and do some shapes. Okay, so I'm going to look at the shape, and now first I need to know what is it made up of. Okay, because I noticed that it's got 5 sides, so that's a pentagon. We don't have like a specific formula, so we're going to kind of divide that into 2 shapes. And I could divide it like this, and then what do I see? I see a trapezoid and I see a triangle. So first, it doesn't matter which one you do first, but I'm going to just do the trapezoid first, which is right here, right? So the formula for trapezoid, I'm going to go ahead and write area equals base 1 plus base 2 times height divided by 2. Okay, so I need to figure out, well, what are my bases and what's my height? So my base, here's a base and here's a base. So I know that one of the bases is 10, right? So that's 10 plus, and then the other base is this whole length down here, which you can see here is 19. So that's plus 19 times my height. Now I don't know how tall it is, except here's what I do know. I do know that from here to here is 13, and from here to here is 7. So that means the height for this triangle is 7, and 13 minus 7 is what? 6. So that means this right here has to be 6 yards. So my height is going to be 6. Whoops. And then I need to do divided by 2. So you can do that on the calculator. So if I do that on the calculator, 10 plus 19, of course, is 29 times 6. And then is 174 divided by 2 is 87. So that right there is going to be 87 square yards because it's yards. Now, that's just for my trapezoid, right? That's the trapezoid. But now I also have my triangle here. So here's my triangle. So I need to find area equals base times height divided by 2. So your base is like the bottom part, right? So how long is the base? It's the same as the base of the trapezoid. That's going to be 19. So that's going to be area equals 19 times, we just figured out the height was 7, divided by 2. So I'm going to do 19 times 7 divided by 2, and I got 66 and 5/10. So area is 66 and 5/10 square yards. So am I done? No, I am not. I am now going to have to add those together because I have 87 here and 66 and 5/10 here. So I'm going to do 87 plus 66 and 5/10. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and do that right here. 6 plus 7 is 13, carry that, that's 9 plus 6 is 15. So that's 153 and 5/10 square yards, because it's area, so it's square yards. And there's my answer. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, my drawing doesn't look very accurate, but that's actually supposed to be a square there. So we want to find the area, and I notice I've got a rectangle or a square, and I've got a triangle. So I know I've got a triangle, and I have a square or a rectangle, either one. Okay, so I need to find both of those. So I'm going to start with a triangle just because that's what I wrote first. So I know that my formula is area equals base times height divided by 2, so I need to plug that in. So the base is right here, that's 9, times, here's my height, that's 7, divided by 2. So 9 times 7 is 63, and 63 divided by 2 is 31.5, and that'll be square feet. Okay, I'm just going to write that, 31.5 right there. Now I need to find the area of my square. These little tick marks that I added so you know what they are, that means that they are equal, those sides that have that are equal. So that means this side I know is 9 feet because it's across from this. So since there's those tick marks, this is 9 feet as well. So that means if it's a square, then I know that it's area equals just side times side. But if I do base times height, that's going to be area equals 9 times 9, which is 81. So I'm going to write 81 right there. So now I need to put it together. So I'm going to put that together and add it up. So I've got 81 plus 31 and 5/10. So that is going to be 8, 9, 10, 11, 112 and 5/10 square feet. Okay, so these are my attempts at drawing here. So I see right here a rectangle, and then I see a semicircle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my area of my rectangle. So you've got a rectangle, which is area equals base times height. And then I have a semicircle, which is area equals pi r squared, but since it's only half of it, you divide it by 2 since it's half a circle. So let's start with my rectangle. I know that I've got 18 and 12. So I'm going to do area equals 18 times 12, and that is 216. So that's 216 square meters. And now I need to find my area of my semicircle. So I'm thinking there's nothing there. How am I going to do that? Well, we know that this right here is 12, but I don't want the whole thing. I only want half of it because I need the radius. So the radius will be 6. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3.14, because we've been using 3.14 for pi, times 6 squared over 2. Now I know that 6 squared is 36, so I'm going to do 3 and 1400ths times 36 divided by 2. So I'll do that real quick. And you're going to get 56 and 52 hundredths. So that's for this part. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to actually add those together. So I'm going to add the 216 and the 56 and 52 hundredths. And I am going to get 272 and 52 hundredths square meters. Okay, let's do another one. we're going to pretend that this is all straight and it doesn't look horrible. So I see you can do this so many ways to divide this up, but just real quick, I know that this whole side right here is 16. So that means if this is 6 and this is 2, that's 8. So that means what has to be right here? That has to be 8. Okay, and then I know if this whole side right here is 14 and this is 12, then that means like right here, that has to be 2 inches. Okay, so that's going to help me because I need to figure out the area of this. So you can divide it several ways. One way I can divide it is kind of like a rectangle here, maybe a rectangle there, and then here. Okay, so I have 3 rectangles, and I know that that's area equals base times height. And right here is 14 times 2, which is 28. Okay, and then this one right here is going to be 2 by 8, so that's 16. And then right here is going to be, I've got 6 right here, and this is this whole thing, so that's going to be 14, not the 12, because it goes up past that 12. So that's going to be 14 times 6, which is 84. So now I just have to add that together. So I'm going to do 28 plus 16 plus 84. And let's see, that's 18. Carry that, that's 10, 12. So that's going to be 128 square inches. Okay, so we're going to excuse my drawings here. We want to find the area of the shaded section. So to do that, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to find the area of both circles and then subtract the unshaded section. So why don't we start with, why don't we start with this first circle, the inner circle right here. Okay, I know that the formula for area is pi r squared, so I'm going to use 3.14 times, and my radius right there is 24, so 24 squared. So I'm going to do 3.14 times 24 squared, and that is going to be 1808.64. Okay, so that's the area of that one. Now I need to find the area of the other one. So the area of this one, it's really like the whole thing, right? So I'm trying to kind of show you, it's this whole thing. So my radius isn't just 24, my radius is actually this 24 plus 5. Okay, so what would that be? That would be 29. So my radius is actually going to be 29 for this. So it's pi r squared. So we're going to do 3 and 1400ths times 29 squared. Okay, and again, we can use our calculators for this because we're getting into all these big numbers here. And that is going to be 2,640 and 7400ths. Well, I want to know just the shaded part. So what I need to do is I need to basically just come over here and erase this part. I need to get rid of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract the unshaded part to figure out the total. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract that. And I got 832 and 1/10. So that is 832 and 1/10. And I didn't say what unit it was, so we'll just say units squared. And I hope this helped.